Ritual Beast tutorial video. I'm going to discuss to you how to play Ritual Beast effectively. And the way you're going to want to play this deck is with the skill Destiny Draw. So here we're going to rename this just Destiny Draw next to it so you know the skill. Alright, so that way you know the skill. And we're going to talk about how you want to play this deck. So, first of all, I'm going to go over the main engine that you use with the Ritual Beast. Okay? So, first of all, you have Tamers and you have Spiritual Beasts. Two different kinds of monsters. Now, the only exception is Winda, which we'll get into in a second. But we're going to start by talking about the Tamers first. Alright? So first, your main combo starter is going to rely on Elder. Elder is your first Tamer. Now, Elder has an effect that after it's normal summoned, you can go ahead and play another Spiritual Beast, Ritual Beast monster from your hand. Now that can be a Spiritual Beast or a Ritual Beast Tamer. All Spiritual Beasts and Ritual Beasts are counted as Ritual Beast monsters. So I know this is going to sound very confusing at first, but just go along with me here. Alright? Try to stay with me. So, he gives you the additional summon. Alright? Laura allows us to summon a Ritual Beast monster from our graveyard. That can be a Spiritual Beast or a Ritual Beast. Spiritual Beast, so those are your two Tamers. Now, the outlier here is Winda. Why is Winda an outlier? Because it's an outlier because she is both a Tamer and a Spiritual Beast. Alright? So, as being both, she can count as either or in summoning the fusion monsters. Alright? Which we'll get over to in a little bit. Also, on destruction by your opponent's battle or card effect, she floats. So she'll float into any Ritual Beast monster. Your Tamers, your Spiritual Beast, or she can also float from the extra deck, which is really important. Now, next we're going to get on to the Spiritual Beast. Alright? Now, the reason, like I said, she's the outlier is because she can count as both. Just reminding you of that. Next, your Spiritual Beast, the first one is a Paleo. Now, the one thing you need to note about both of these monsters that make them special is both Spiritual Beasts and the Tamers, not the fusions, can only be special summoned once per turn. Alright? Per monster that you have. So for example, if I have a Paleo and I special summon him, I can't special summon him again. Alright? So this becomes very important when wanting to extend your plays, get your searches off, and really multiply your advantage. Alright? So Spiritual Beast to Paleo has an effect. Once per turn during either play's turn, you can banish one Ritual Beast card from your graveyard. Can be your spells and traps. Or, for the rest of his turn, all Ritual Beast monsters you control will gain 500 attack and defense. Very important. That attack is on every monster you would summon this turn, even after you use the boost. So, for example, if I have a Paleo on the field, and I boost, I can summon again this turn, and it will get the boost. So, if I have a Paleo, and then I fusion, that fusion monster will get the boost. Alright? So also, this can be used on either player's turn. So this is great on your opponent's turn with Bomb. But we'll get more into that with the combo section. And it's great for pushing for lethal on your turn. Next is Spiritual Beast Rambangu. Once per turn, you can banish one Ritual Beast monster from your extra deck. And send one Ritual Beast monster with the same type as that monster from your deck to the graveyard. Notice how it says and. So this cannot miss the timing. Alright? So you don't have to worry about this card missing timing or anything like that. If it said then it could. But since it says and, it's simultaneous. It cannot miss the timing. So that's something with the wording you need to know. Alright? So you get to send one Ritual Beast monster with the same type as that monster sent from the extra deck, from your deck to the graveyard. So, if I send an Ulti Paleo, it is a Pyro. That is its type. So I could send the corresponding Paleo to the graveyard. If I banish Ulti Kana Orc, I could send the corresponding Thunder type kind of walk to the graveyard. Pedalfin, Aqua, Ulti Pedalfin since Pedalfin. So you get the point here. Alright? So that's very important for you to understand in this myriad of things, to understand how to build your extra deck and how to combo going forward with this card, which we'll get into in the combo section. Also, the reason you play it also is for it to be another name. Next, the most important spiritual beast and the SR of the box, Spiritual Beast Kanahawk. Once per turn, this is a soft once per turn. By the way, all the first effects of all the spiritual beasts, the first effects of all the spiritual beast monsters, not the special summon, their initial effect are all soft once per turns. What does that mean? They're once per turn for each time they are summoned during that turn. Once per turn, you can banish one Ritual Beast card from your deck face up during your second standby phase after this effect's activation. Add the card banished by this effect to the hand. So this is actually a gold sark for them, but this really allows you to combo deeply with the deck, and I'll get into that. So you generally want to summon Elder and Kanahawk to banish one. Then you're going to tag into a fusion, tag it back out, get your Kanahawk back out so you can banish again, and extend and get multiple searches, which we'll get into. But if you open them up alone, a great play is to banish your Elder, hopefully has some protection still on, and then you can wait a turn or two to get your, to get your Elder, and then combo off after that. Another great way to abuse this is if you open up Return, you can use Ritual Beast Return after you banished your Winda. Banish a Ritual Beast from the hand and then summon the Winda. We'll get into its effect in a second. Then you can fuse. But you can do that with any Tamer. The great thing about Winda is it'll give you additional protection. Now the final one we need to get into is Spiritual Beast Pedalfin. And this one's the most important because this is your inherent removal in the deck. So, once per turn, you can banish one Ritual Beast card from your hand, then target one card your opponent controls, return it to the hand. So, the best way to use this is to target your opponent's monster, banish a card from the hand that can also be used to extend your board and set up OTKs, and then target a monster your opponent controls and send it back to the hand, or back row. She can also target back row. Now, another great way to abuse this card is to special summon it more than once per turn. So, like I said, being a soft once per turn, you could definitely use it more than that once per turn. So that's a great way to abuse it. Now, we're going to get into the spell and trap lineup. First is Ritual Beast Return. You banish any Ritual Beast monster, so a Tamer or a Spiritual Beast. Then target one of your Ritual Beast monsters that is banished or in the grave, special summon it. You must have a valid target in the grave or banished upon using this effect. Alright, so if you do not have a valid target, you cannot activate Return. Next comes Ritual Beast Bond. Bond, banish two Ritual Beast monsters you control. Special summon one Ritual Beast monster from your extra deck, ignoring the summoning conditions. This is terrific. If you open up Bond, a great way to use this is you generally want to search it. You really don't want to open it. But you can banish any two Ritual Beast monsters. They can be two Spiritual Beasts as well, even if they don't initially fulfill the summoning condition. Very important. Now the next card I want to go over are the techs. Spear Karibo helps you trigger your Destiny draw. You can easily go and run three spears in the deck if you want. You could run it like this. Or run it like this. What you do is your choice. So Spear Karibo can switch to a monster defense, help you get over certain monsters you would struggle to get over with this deck, and that just helps you out a lot. And as well set up your Destiny draw. Cosmic Cyclone, pay 1,000, banish a back row. Target one on the field, banish it, great against Dark Magician. And the new decks like Evil Eye. Last but not least, Herald of the Abyss. Pay 1,500 life points and declare one monster type and attribute. and your opponent must send that one face-up monster with the declared type and attribute from the field to the grave. For the rest of the turn, your opponent cannot activate effects of the monsters with the sent monster's name. You can only activate what Herald of the Abyss per turn. This is great for setting up Destiny draw as well as getting problematic monsters Penelphin can't deal with. This cannot, because it affects directly the player, they cannot use Forbidden Lance to save their monster. So you can use this on a Cositis, Lunalight Saber Dancer, great targets, a Witchcrafter, Vier. So these are really great targets for that. Also, they have Medusa equipped with a Selene. Really good targets for any of that. So keep that in mind. Also, if you go up against spellbooks and if they have a field that just has a blue boy on the field, then you send that to the grave and they don't have a spellcaster, they no longer can use Fate. So keep that in mind. So now the fusions. So the most important part of the deck is summoning these bad boys out. How are you going to do it? Well, you need a Ritual Beast Tamer plus the Spiritual Beast. By the way, that is a requirement for every fusion you have in this deck. Must be special summoned from your extra deck by banishing the above cards you control and cannot be special summoned by any other ways. You do not use polymerization. That first effect comes on all of them. If this card attacks, it is unaffected by all other cards until the end of the damage step. That includes cards you activate. So if you use a Paleo to boost ulti, it will lose the boost. Keep that in mind. Alright, to the end of the damage step. During either play's turn, you can return this card to the extra deck, then target 2 of your banished monster, 1 Tamer, and 1 Spiritual Beast, summon it, them, and defense. Special summon them. Now, the great thing about Ulti Paleo is, first of all, that third clause is on every one of the fusions. So I don't need to go over it multiple times. But the great thing about Ulti Paleo, they cannot drowning it if it attacks. If another monster attacks while it's on the field, it can be drowning. Keep that in mind. Only when it attacks specifically. They cannot drowning, Wall of D, prison, any of that. No battle phase traps, no Spear Karibo, no Kite Roy will still work because it just prevents them from taking damage. But none of that. Alright, so really good. Ritual Beast Ulti Kana Orc. Now again, we're going to ignore the first part. Once per turn, you can target 2 of your banished Ritual Beast cards, return them to the graveyard, and if you do, add 1 Ritual Beast card from your deck to your hand. Now, the very important point, and the main core of playing Ritual Beast, is knowing how to use this properly, and I cannot stress it enough. Because of the way its effect is designed, only one of the cards that is banished that goes back to the graveyard needs to be there. So only one of the cards needs to go back to the graveyard and to get the search off. You do not need 2 of them. So, your combo is going to be targeting 2 Ritual Beasts, a Ritual Beast and a Spiritual Beast, so a Spiritual Beast monster and a Tamer. One you want to summon and one you don't. So, here's the deal. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to target 2 monsters, alright, or a monster and a spell. 1 card you want to play, 1 card you don't. So, for example, let's say I want to summon Winda and Conahawk, and I have Winda, Conahawk, every turn banished. I activate Ulti Conahawk's effect. I target, initially, my Conahawk and my return. Alright? Then, I chain its second effect to tag itself out. So the third effect that's in this card. During either player's turn, you return this card to your extra deck to special summon the Tamer and the Spiritual Beast. I chain to use that effect and target my Conahawk and my Winda. Alright? So initially, this one I wanted to summon. This card I didn't. Alright? Can't summon a return anyway. So then I target the 2 monsters I want to summon, Winda and Conahawk, and play them both on the field instantaneously. And then this goes back to the extra deck, and your 2 monsters get summoned, and because this got sent to the graveyard, you get to add a Ritual Beast card from your deck to your hand. Now, if, let's say I have a monster, and I don't have this. I have a Lara and a Winda, and the Conahawk. Well, I want to summon Winda. Well, how am I going to get that? How am I going to summon Winda and Kanahawk and get a search? I'm going to tag 2 monsters here. My Lara and my Winda. Remember, one I do not want to summon it, and one I do. So, I want to summon Winda. So, I'm going to choose one and choose another. This, we want going to the grave. So, I'm going to chain the third effect. And then, I'm going to summon Winda and Kanahawk to the field. I'm going to target these 2. Alright? And then these 2 will get summoned. Lara goes to the grave. Alright? And then you search. Last but not least, Ulti Battlefin. First and third effect the same. Second effect. This card cannot be destroyed by card effect. Simple. 2800 defense. It's almost an instant win against Desperado. Really good to summon against Cyber Dragon because they cannot pop it with Overflow. Just a really good body against some decks. Great if you don't open up by DL. So if you go Winda and you have to go Winda Kanahawk with a return, you summon him. A lot of decks can't get over that turn 1, so really good. Now, combos! Let's hit it. Alright, because of the nature of this, I'm just going to fast forward until we get a combo here. Alright, natural setup. Elder, Kanahawk. How do we do this? Elder on summon, we get that additional normal summon. We're going to summon Kanahawk. This is a bread and butter. You need to know how to execute this, otherwise you're going to struggle with the entire deck. Now, Elder, the one thing I forgot to bring up is its effect cannot be negated. The effect is summoned, so if they sanctify you, they use Madame Vernay, you can still use Elder's effect, alright, because it's continuous. Now, we're going to activate Kanahawk's effect. We're going to banish our Paleo from the extra deck. First, actually, we're going to banish the Winda. Generally, this doesn't matter, but we want to banish Winda first, just for the sole reason that if our combo got interrupted mid, we would have a Winda ready to go. Again, that doesn't really matter much. Now, before we start our ulti Kanahawk loops, we're going to tag into any Ritual Beast fusion we want. So for this case, we'll just go with Paleo. Now, we're going to tag out the Paleo. And then we're going to summon our 2 monsters that we want to here. Simple, simple. Elder and Kanahawk. Now, keeping in mind of which Ritual Beast monsters we special summon. Remember, I told you they can each only be summoned once per turn. So keep that in mind. That's a hard once per turn on that. Alright? So we're going to summon Elder and Kanahawk, keeping in mind that they've already been summoned. Now we're going to go grab our Paleo. The only reason why you would want to ignore that step is if you're going for OTK. So if you're going for OTK, go immediately into Ulti Kanahawk to set up a Pedalfin play. But in this case, we're not doing that. So now, we're going to be able to go into our Ulti Kanahawk. Now, in this case and scenario, we're going to start the tag out loop. Remember, one you want to summon, one you don't. So in this case, we're going to target, which ones do we want to summon? We want to summon Winda Kanahawk. So how am I going to get there? I'm going to target Elder and Winda. 2 Tamers here. And we're going to chain its second effect. Well, it's actually its third effect, but you get the point. Not Winda Kanahawk, I'm sorry. Winda Paleo. Because we already summoned Kanahawk. So we're going to summon Winda Paleo. So Winda Paleo, because these 2 monsters weren't summoned, and one went to the grave, we get the prompt to search. Now in this case, a Lara or an Elder is a very good follow-up. Elder's a great follow-up with Pedalfin in the hand. Then we're going to use a Paleo's effect to banish our Elder. And then we're going to tag out into our ulti. Kanahawk again. Now, make sure when you go for the tag out combo, your toggle in Duel Links is set to auto or onto on. If it's onto off, it will not work. It will not prompt you to use the third effect to tag out, so you will not get to tag out and complete your combo. Make sure you know to do that. Now, in this case, we're going to send our Elder and Arcana Hawk to the graveyard, so we keep Winda and Apaleo banished. And we're going to add another card from our deck to our hand. Why not? In this case, we can go about searching Bond. So what does this do for us? What did all that kablash do? Because you're probably going to say, okay, what did we accomplish? Well, on our opponent's turn, we could tag out. Remember, the tag out's during either player's turn. We could tag out back into our window, get some extra floating protection. Apaleo can rebanish some of our cards from our graveyard, like our Elder and Kana Hawk, to fuel up the banish pile even more. And we have an OTK on our next turn with Bond. So let's just proceed with this. And I can show you where we go from here. Alright, we're going to pretend that our opponent goes to his end phase. And we're going to tag back out. Remember, tag out in the end phase. Why should you do that? Because they can only be special summoned once per turn. So you don't want to tag out during your turn and have it where you can't summon these things on your turn. You want to make sure that you can summon them on your turn. Also, because you get a Paleo's banish effect. Because it's a quick effect. So we can banish our Arcana Hawk. And then it'll be our turn. So now it's his turn. Now we go back to our turn. We draw for turn. We're going to activate a Paleo's effect to banish our Elder. And now we can start our contact loops if we want. We can also keep Paleo on the field as potential beater. Remember, I'm not going to summon more than 4 monsters here. 3 monsters because this is Duel Links. In this case, I would set up a tag out. If we wanted to, we could do that. We can also set up our Battlefiend just to summon. It really depends on what back row they have. Assuming they have no back row, we're going to set up the tag out here. And then we're going to go normal summon our Elder that we searched. And then normal summon our Battlefiend. Assuming they would have a card, we'd be able to banish and then do our thing. But in this case, we're going to go into another Ulticana Hawk. Whoop, didn't mean to summon it there. Never mind where it got summoned. Just focus on what I'm doing. Alright, so we're going to target 2 Elders. We're going to chain our effect. Go into an Elder. And then we can go and summon back. If there was another card banished, we'd go Battlefiend. So just for an example, we'll go Battlefiend here. Bang, still have 3 monsters on the field. And we can go ahead and search a return or a window depending on what we need. Bounce. If we need to, we could bounce. Now note how we still have Winda Paleo banished. That's very important. Why is it important? Because we want to make sure that if we're going to attack, we ideally want a situation where we can attack and then tag out to bond rather than having to bond our fusions. We'd rather have a situation we can tag out. In this scenario, though, assuming we use Battlefiend's effect, we could banish the Laura, and we'd have 2 more banished, so you wouldn't have to worry. We could tag out the Kana Hawk here. We'll pretend to have Laura banished in this case. So since we have a second Kana Hawk, we can use the tag out effect on field. So we have the option to tag out. If we had the same Kana Hawk on the field, we couldn't do that. So for example, if you had a Kana Hawk on the field from the previous turn, you can't use the simultaneous Kana Hawk twice. It's kind of odd. But just ignore that. Don't worry about that. Because that rarely will ever come up. But in this case, we're going to go target our Paleo and our Kana Hawk. And then we're going to tag out again. And in this case, we're going to summon Winda. And we're going to summon the Paleo. Because we already summoned Battlefiend. Searchy search. Into whatever. Banish. Just to fuel it up. And pretending that Laura was banished, we'd be able to tag out again because we did not summon Kana Hawk this turn. And you have a tag out. And if this is direct, I want to put a note on this. If you go straight attack direct attack, and they have an open field, you have lethal through Kite Roid. So keep that in mind. This is lethal through a Kite Roid, assuming you have a Laura banished in this case. Restart! Alright, in this hand in particular, we're going to go about this really short. If I open up this, I want to go Kanahawk, and I want to banish immediately my Elder. Just so that way, I have Spirit Protection. 2 turns, I can ideally set up my field the way I want. Restart! Nope. I'm trying to get to an Elder Rampengu hand. If I can't get one to a few turns. Alright, well, Elder Kanahawk is the main setup. I'm trying to show you guys Elder Return Rampengu. So just give me a few seconds here. Unless it doesn't draw me, then we're kind of screwed either way. Okay, there we go. Now, in this case, I'm going to show you Elder Rampengu. Also, do not forget to follow me on Twitch. I have the link in the description below. And subscribe to my YouTube if you enjoy the content. I do tournaments once a month on Twitch. And we just had one on 30 Card Monster Mash. The next one's going to be a Rarity Series tournament. Which means I'm going to identify a certain rarity card. Normal, rare, SR, and UR. And you'll have to comply to that. And you can use any skill that you want. Alright? We might also pick multiple rarities. So get ready for that. Alright? So I want you ready for that. And also I do cock climbs. Casey Cup Grimes. All that's on Twitch. So make sure you're followed there. I do weekly. I do try to do at least 2 video uploads per week. It's been quite a busy month for me. So I haven't had the chance to really upload on YouTube. But a ton more are coming. So Elder Rampengu. We're going to use Elder into Rampengu. And in this case, we're going to banish our ulti Kanahawk to send a Kanahawk to the graveyard. Now, in this case, we have return in the hand. Otherwise, we'd end up searching it. Now, remember, the first thing we choose one we want and one we don't want. So, we want our Elder, and we do not want our ulti Kanahawk. Then we chain the second effect, and we bring back out our Elder and our Rampengu. And because our ulti Kanahawk goes to the grave, we can search. Pretty sweet deal, right? In this case, since we already have a winda in hand, we have this really ideal. So we're going to search ourselves in a Paleo. And then we're going to activate Ritual Beast Return. And we need another Tamer banished, which we will get to. So we're going to summon back our Kanahawk. And our Kanahawk can go ahead and banish our winda. So you can kind of see where I'm going with this. Whoop! Didn't even summon it there, but no need to fear. In this case, we target our Elder and our winda, and then we take it back out. And we can combo extend the field. And we can search because one of the cards went to the graveyard. So Alara. That way you have a follow-up. Kind of see where I'm going with this. Banish the Elder. And what's better than to not have another search? So in total, we've searched 3 times this turn. Pretty crazy, right? And we'll have a banish set up. So Elder Kanahawk go back to the grave. We have no more Ritual Beast to summon, so we're good at this point. And we can search a bond. And you're in a very good setup here. You have Spear Karibo, you have Ritual Beast Bond. And you have an Elder, you have a Lar in hand. You can search an Elder next turn. You have a lot of different ways you can go with this field. So you have a lot of different ways to extend your board on your following turn. With a winda and banish for protection. And a Paleo to rebanish your Kanahawk. So you're in a really good spot. How do you play this deck mid-game? Playing this deck mid-game is about adjusting to what your opponent does, more or less. So, if your opponent decides to set up an untargetable monster, you're going to try to set up Herald of the Abyss. So one play you may make is you may end up switching one of your monsters to attack. And as crazy as this sounds, you might end up swinging into their monster to take damage to get your Destiny draw, so that way you could search a card that can out him. Now, I wanted to get back here to my deck list for a second and show you some additional decks that you may want to use. If you do not have Herald, another good tech is Lava Golem. So we're just going to put these in our side deck for now. Lava Golem is a very good tech because you contribute 2 monsters your opponent controls, and you can burn them for 1,000 per turn. Another good way to trigger your Destiny draw might be to use this. This has been seen in a lot of KC Cup high-level play. A Pointer of the Red Lotus allows you to snipe a card out of your opponent's hand. That could be an Alistair, an Invocation, and also slow your opponent down while making sure you get your skill off on the following turn. Another card that you could play in this deck that's actually really, really effective is, and as much and as simplistic as this might sound here, running this over Spirit Karibo when you're on a budget can work effectively to ensure you get your Destiny draw. Also, if they swing into an attack position monster, then you have this to prevent damage, right? Although that doesn't come up very often, you do have that. Or if they have a cavalry, you can prevent piercing. So just giving you some ideas on additional text that you can run. If you are more on the wallet side and you want to get creative there, Fiendish Chain. Negate their monster effects. Great for dealing with Squire, Sun Saga. Squire Saga, very good for dealing with those particular monsters. And also standard back row like Floodgate's good. Kanadi is good. So all great additional text that you can throw in. You can also run Plasma as well. So on the bottom you'll see a bunch of great text, great options you can run here to help make your Ritual Beast deck run the way you want it to. So these are the most recommended texts. Now other skills I will list that you can run, and I'm going to write this, try to write this somewhere. Okay, I can't write it here. But other skills you can run, I can write this. Just kill the name for a second. You can run Switcheroo. What else? Restart's very good. An MCR. Still good. Sealed Tombs. And Shadow Game. Oop. If you want to burn your opponent out. Which could be great if you have to go for the stall option with this deck. So let's say you have an untargetable monster. Shadow Game could give you another win con, depending on how many cards they have in the graveyard and how much life points they have. So that could make it hard for your opponent to win if they have to resort to Shadow Game. So just giving you a few options there. Alright? Now remember, Elder is semi-limited to 2. So you cannot run Kiteroid, Econ, World Legacy Clash, any of that. Cannot be run in this deck. Treacherous, you know it. Until next time, don't forget to follow. Don't forget to subscribe. We'll appreciate that follow, subscribe on YouTube. I will have a Discord link posted shortly. Till then, till Betray, signing out.